Hi friends, welcome to all. In this video, we are going to discuss CCNA version 7 packet tracer activity, configure initial router settings. Before coming to this activity, friends, if you are watching our channel first time, or if you like to get this type of technical videos in future, consider subscribing. Also, don't forget to enable that bell icon near to the subscribe button so that you will get notification message whenever we upload a new video. Also, if you like to get more technical contents, you can visit our website, link I given in the description. Now coming back to our packet tracer activity, configure initial router settings. Here we can see the objectives. In part 1 we will verify the default router configuration. Then in part 2 we will configure and verify the initial router configuration, and then finally we will save the running configuration file. In this activity, we will perform basic router configuration task. We will secure access to the CLI and console port using encrypted and plain text passwords. We will also configure messages for users who are logging into the router. These banners warn unauthorized users that access is prohibited. Finally, we will verify and save our running configuration. Okay, firstly coming to part 1, verify the default router configuration. So in step 1, establish a console connection to R1. So coming to our topology, here we can see our router R1 and our end device PCA. Here choose a console cable from the available connections. So coming to our packet tracer, left corner, here we can see connections. We will click on these connections, and here we can see console. We will click on this console. Then we have to click PCA, then we have to select this RS232. Then the other end, we have to connect to the router R1. Click R1 and select console. Okay, so coming to our PCA, and here we can see RS232. We will connect to this RS232. The other end on R1, here we can see console. We will connect to console. Yes, once we connect these devices using console cable, here we can see our completion status. It's now 20%. Okay, next we have to click PCA, then we have to go to this desktop tab, then terminal. Okay, then click OK and press enter. You are now able to configure R1. We will check that. We will go to PCA, and here we can see the number of tabs: physical config, desktop, programming, attributes. We will click on this desktop tab, and here we can see terminal. Here we can see port configuration. We will leave this port configuration as a default, then we will press OK. Here now it shows press return to get started, so we will press enter. Yes, now we accessed our router R1 using this terminal. So now we will be able to configure this device. What is next? Coming to step 2, enter privileged mode and examine the current configuration. You can access all the router commands from privileged exec mode. However, because many of the privileged commands configure operating parameters, privileged access should be password protected to prevent unauthorized use. Yes, that's correct. So enter privileged exec mode by entering the enable command. Yes, we can do that. We are going to give enable, then press enter. Now we are in privileged exec mode. Notice that the prompt changed in the configuration to reflect privileged exec mode. Yes, we have seen that. So this prompt router greater than now changed to router hash. Now enter the show running -config command. like this. Okay, in the privileged exec mode we can do that. Here we will give show running hyphen config and press enter. We have some questions here. What is the router's host name? So here we can see host name, it's a router, the default name. Okay, how many fast Ethernet interfaces does the router have? Okay, here we have more information, so we can press enter or space. We'll press space. Okay, and here we can see gigabit Ethernet. We will scroll down so that we can see fast Ethernet. Here we can see fast Ethernet 0/1/0, fast Ethernet 0/1/1, fast Ethernet 0/1/2, and fast Ethernet 0/1/3. So total we have four fast Ethernet interfaces. Now, how many gigabit Ethernet interfaces does the router have? Okay, here we have seen that gigabit Ethernet. Here we can see gigabit Ethernet 0/0 and gigabit Ethernet 0/1. So in this router we have 2 gigabit Ethernet interfaces. Next is how many serial interfaces does the router have? Okay, here we can see serial 0/0/0 and serial 0/0/1. So in this router we can see 2 serial interfaces. Next is what is the range of values shown for the VTY lines? Okay, we will scroll down. And here we can see line VTY, it's from 0 to 4. Next is display the current contents of NVRAM. We have to give this show command, show startup hyphen config. So it will show this message, startup config is not present. Okay, we will check that. Show startup hyphen config, and we will press enter, and here we can see it shows startup hyphen config is not present. Why does the router respond with the startup config is not present message? Obviously because there is no content in NVRAM. Whenever we do some configurations, those configurations are saved in RAM. And we know that RAM is a volatile memory. So when power goes or when we restart our device, all the content from the RAM will be erased. For that, what we have to do, we have to save the content from RAM to NVRAM. So once we copy the content from RAM to NVRAM, we can see the content of this show command, show startup hyphen config. Yes, in the last part we will see how to save from RAM to NVRAM. Now we will come to part 2, configure and verify the initial router configuration. To configure parameters on a router, you may be required to move between various configuration modes. Notice how the prompt changes as you navigate through the iOS configuration modes. Yes, coming to step 1, configure the initial settings on R1. They given a note here. If you have difficulty remembering the commands, refer to the contents for this topic. The commands are the same as you configured on a switch. In one of the previous video we have seen the initial configuration of a switch. Here we are going to use those same commands what we used for the initial switch configuration, and it's quite simple. We will see that. Configure R1 as the host name. We can do that. We have to go to global configuration mode. Now we are in privileged exec mode. Here we have to give configure, then we can press enter, or we can give it terminal also. Now we have to set the host name. We have host name, then we have to specify the name. as specified, it's R1. Then press enter, and here we can see now the host name is changed from router to R1. Now configure message of the day text, that is MOTD banner. Unauthorized access is strictly prohibited. Okay, we will copy this text. Then coming to our router, here we are going to set the banner MOTD. Then we have to start with any delimiter. Okay, here we will use double quote. Then our message, we already copied that. Unauthorized access is strictly prohibited. Then we will end with the same delimiter, double quote what we used. Then press enter. Now encrypt all plain text passwords. Use the following passwords. Okay, we have to encrypt all plain text passwords. Also we have to set these following passwords. Privileged exec, it's unencrypted, we have to use a Cisco. Then privileged exec, encrypted password, we have to give it's a secret. Then we have to configure console password as a let me in. First of all, we will configure a privileged exec password. Plain text password we have to give as a Cisco. Okay, we can give that in global configuration mode. Here we have to give enable, we have a password, then we have to specify the password. It's a Cisco. Then press enter. Next we have to configure encrypted privileged exec password. We have to set the password as it's a secret. Okay, so we have to give, the command is enable a secret, then we have to give our password, it's a secret. Now we will configure console password as a let me in. So we have to go to line console, slot 0. Okay, then press enter. Password, it's a let me in, we will give that here, let me in. Then we have to give a login command. Now we will encrypt all plain text passwords using the command service password -encryption. Then press enter. Next we will go to step 2, verify the initial settings on R1. Verify the initial settings by viewing the configuration for R1. What command do you use? Obviously we have to use a show running config command to verify the initial settings. We can give that, we have to go to privileged exec mode, either by exit command or we can give Control Z shortcut key. Press enter. Okay, here we are going to give a show running config. Press enter. Here we can see host name is R1 and enable secret. We can see encrypted password. Enable password. This is also encrypted because we given service password encryption. Okay. Here we can see line console 0 and the password, it's encrypted. And here we can see our banner MOTD, unauthorized access is strictly prohibited. And here in this banner MOTD we can see some characters in the beginning and at the end. These are the delimiters. These delimiters will not be displayed in the message. Okay, now exit the current console session until you see the following message. R1 CON0 is now available. Press return to get started. Okay, we can do that. Just we are going to exit from the current console session. So here we can give exit, then press enter. Here it shows press return to get started. We will press enter. Press enter. You should see the following message. Okay, we will press enter. Here we can see these messages. Unauthorized access is strictly prohibited. This is the message what we set. I mean the banner MOTD. Then it will prompt for the user access verification. So here we can see that. Same thing here. Our banner MOTD, and it's prompted for the password. Now, why should every router have a message of the day, that is MOTD banner? Yeah, it's just a message to the intruders. We are giving a warning, any warning like unauthorized access is strictly prohibited. If you are not prompted for a password before reaching the user exit prompt, what console line command did you forget to configure? Here for us it's prompted for the password. Suppose if it is not prompted for the password, you may be forgot to give a login command, which we already given in the console line. Next is enter the passwords necessary to return to privileged exit mode. Okay, so here we'll press enter, and it's a prompted for the password. Password is let me in. Okay, we are in a user exit mode. Now we will go to privileged exit mode, enable, then press enter. So again it's prompted for the password. Actually we set two password here for the privileged exit mode. One is unencrypted password, it's Cisco. Then encrypted password, it says secret. First we will try this Cisco. No, it's not accepted. Now we will try this encrypted password. It says secret. Here we can see it's working. Next is why would the enable secret password allow access to the privileged exit mode and the enable password no longer be valid? Yes, here we configured both enable secret and enable password, and if we set these two password, enable secret password will override the enable password. Hence, to go to this privileged exit mode from user exit mode, we have to use enable secret password. Next is if you configure any more passwords on the router, are they displayed in the configuration file as a plain text or in encrypted form? Explain. Yeah, once you give that service password encryption, all the plain text password will be encrypted. Also, whatever password we are going to set in future also will be encrypted. Okay, now we are going to part 3. Save the running configuration file. Step 1. Save the configuration file to NVRAM. You have configured the initial settings for R1. Now backup the running configuration file to NVRAM to ensure that the changes made are not lost if the system is rebooted or loses the power. What command did you enter to save the configuration to NVRAM? What is the shortest unambiguous version of this command? Okay, we will check that. So to save from RAM to NVRAM, we have to use this command: copy running config space startup config, and the destination file name, okay, we will give this startup config the default name. So just press enter. Building configuration, okay, it's copied. Next is what is the shortest unambiguous version of this command? We will see that. We will try with the CO, then we will put question mark. We can see 3 commands with the CO, but with the COP we have only one command, it's copy. Then we will give space. For running config we will give R, then question mark. Okay, we have only running config, then we will give space. For startup config we will try yes. With the S we have two commands, so we will give st. Okay, it's a startup config. So here we can see the shortest version of this command, cop space r space st. Then we can press enter. Destination file name, again we can press enter. Okay, now we will go to step 2, optional, save the startup configuration file to flash. Although we will be learning more about managing the flash storage in a router in later chapters, we may be interested to know that as an added backup procedure, we can save our startup configuration file to flash also. By default, the router still loads the startup configuration from NVRAM, but if NVRAM becomes corrupt, we can restore the startup configuration by copying it over from flash. Now complete the following steps to save the startup configuration to flash. Examine the contents of flash using the show flash command. We have to give like this, show flash, show show flash. Now how many files are currently stored in flash? 1, 2, 3. Here we can see 3 files. Which of these files would you guess is the iOS image? Here we can see one iOS image. Okay, why do you think this file is the iOS image? Because here we can see the extension of this file is .bin. Also we can see it required more space, it used more memory space. Next is a copy startup-config space flash. So we are going to copy the content of startup config to flash. Destination file name, we can give a default file name. Okay, here we'll give that copy startup-config space flash. Press enter. Destination file name default. Okay, the router prompts you to store the file in flash using the name in brackets. If the answer is yes, just press enter. If not, type an appropriate name and press enter. Okay, here we given this a default name, just we pressed enter. Use the show flash command to verify the startup configuration file is now stored in flash. Okay, we will see that using this show command, the show flash, and here we can see our fourth file, startup config. This is what we configured from startup config to this flash. Okay, that's all in this packet tracer activity. Configure initial router settings. Here we can see our completion status. It's 100%. Now dear friends, if you have any doubt, any suggestions, please comment below. Also, if you like our video, give a thumb and share with all your friends. Also, if you like to get more technical contents, or if you like to contact our team, you can visit our website, a link I given in the description. So stay tuned and we will meet again with the next video. Thank you.